Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. It's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, the weekly comic book review is the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them. And I gotta give a major shout out to David Hatch. David Hatch was our very first supporter on Patreon and he's been continuing to support us each and every month since. So thank you, David. From the bottom of my heart, the most sincerest thank yous. Seriously, you rock. You're a great guy. David Hatch. Super cool. Okay, let's move on to the weekly comic book review, and we always start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week, Thor. Thor number 703. Jason Aaron is the greatest Thor writer ever. Nuff said. Simply put. That's how awesome this book has been ever since Jason Aaron came on, and especially since Jane Foster became Thor. This book has just amped up to the nth degree. It's insane, it's crazy, it's huge, it's explosive, it's deep, it's philosophical, it's meaningful, it's rich. That's what this book is. It is amazing. This issue is a supreme example of why, in this issue, Jane Foster Thor has to make probably the most excruciating and difficult decision of her life. This book is great. You got the Mangog, that giant Kirby creation with the essence of a billion dead souls of anger and rage. It's coming and storming straight to Asgardia. Giant battle scenes, really deep human emotional moments as well. Like I said, a tough decision, a great book. You got Thor, you got the other Thor. This book has been amazing. I've just loved it. Aaron Dodderman's artwork is rich and it is just detailed and intricate, and everything about this book is absolutely beautiful. Seriously, the coloring by Matt Wilson is just simply glorious. It is godlike. Look at the Mangog there. It's something that does Kirby proud. It's huge, it's epic, but it's so epic and huge on scale, but it's also epic on the smallest of scales about humans, about the soul of a hero. It is so good. I love this book. This Death of the Mighty Thor story has really been kicking things into gear again. This book just keeps turning it up and turning it up and turning it up, and when the pot boils over, it's going to be an explosion of awesomeness. Thor 703, my pick of the week. Moving on with some other stuff from Marvel. Doctor Strange 384. Ever since Donny Cates has took over this book, it has just shone with utter brilliance. It's good. It is so fantastically awesome. Doctor Strange is an appealing character, but in the capable hands of Donny Cates, he's even more intriguing, more enthralling as a character. This whole storyline with Loki being the Sorcerer Supreme, at first it reeked of gimmick, it reeked of cheapness, it reeked of just something to try to get people to read the book because Loki is the Sorcerer Supreme. No, everything is there for a purpose that's meaningful, it's deep, it's seriously some really good stuff. Marvel's got some really good books out right now. Thor has been good for a few years. Doctor Strange is super good right now. Gabriel Hernandez Walta's artwork is great with perfect muted colors from Jordi Belair that accentuate the tone and mood of the story. Epic battles, epic magical battles, crazy giant revelations. We have the Sentry has already returned. The ending of this book, just like the ending of all the others, will really just make you want to come back and read more. This book has been fantastic. Donny Cates is doing a great job. The art team, the editorial team, everything about this book, I love. Fantastic work from Marvel Comics, Donny Cates, Walta, Belair, and company. Doctor Strange 384 out this week. Also, we got Avengers 676, the second part of the weekly No Surrender story. Something has snatched Earth away from its typical place in our galaxy, and they don't know where they are. And the people that were outside of Earth, like on the moon and on the satellites, they have no idea where Earth is. And a lot of heroes are now in suspended animation. A choice few Avengers are there to try to make the day better, find out what's going on. You got the Black Order and the Lethal Legion in this issue. A little bit of revelations about what's been going on, but not too much at all. Still a big mystery, including the character Voyager. Who is Voyager? Valerie Vector. I have my own theories. I think it might be Valeria from the Fantastic Four book, but we shall actually see later on. I don't know if that's going to be the case at all. Voyager is a character who apparently was a founding Avenger, and there's some kind of reality thing happened. Nobody remembers her until all of a sudden right now she's reawakened when the Earth gets snatched away. This is going to be like a 16-issue weekly series. It's going to lead into, I guess, Infinity War as that comes out, kind of time for that. I think this is going to wind up being a Thanos story, but we shall see. Who knows? Who knows? Just because the Black Order in here doesn't mean that this is going to be one giant epic Thanos story. There's also allusions to other characters in here. So far, so good. It's a story that feels like it deserves to be an Avengers story. There's a lot of characters moving around, and it's handled pretty delicately. This issue was not as solid as the last issue, but it is a promising second issue into this cool story called No Surrender. So there you go. That's what I thought about that. Venom Inc. Omega is here, and I'm super excited because it's the end of the Venom Inc. story, which I've just totally not liked at all. I love the character of Venom, especially when he's Eddie Brock. So when Eddie Brock became Venom again, I decided I would read the Venom book and support the character being Venom. And I have not liked the Venom book very much since it's happened. The Mark Bagley stuff was neat, kind of a throwback to see Bagley draw Venom again. But this one I didn't really like it. Thought it was sloppy as far as script goes and art. I did not like the art that much. A little, I don't know. It's just a little much for me. Maniac is the gangster who was Venom. He's now Maniac, and he was giant, and I'm just glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. Seriously, Venomverse was way better than Venom Inc. And Venomverse was fun, but it kind of wore on me, and now they're doing the Venomize thing after the Poison X, but it's kind of like, I guess, a trilogy that Bun's doing or something. But Venom Inc., I can't recommend that one. Let's move over to DC Comics. We got a brand new book, Damage, #1. This is the start of the new age of heroes. I guess they're kind of spinning out of metal. How exactly, I'm not sure. How exactly anything happened in this book, you're not sure. This book just throws you basically into the middle of the story, but it does a really good job of catching you up. Because what really sells this book is it is explosive, it is huge, it's energetic, it's bombastic. This book is crazy. Tony Daniel's doing some of the best artwork of his career, actually. I think it's really good, detailed. It's like he had time. The layouts are good. Everything is big, dynamic, giant, epic. That's kind of been the theme this week in comics, it seems. Big, epic, crazy, cool stuff. A decent script. It's basically a Hulk story in a way with a little bit of a different take to it, just a slight difference. We don't really know too much about it, but it seems like this dude gets turned into this Damage character once a day for an hour a day, and craziness ensues. Damage ensues. But the book was actually really, really fun. I highly recommend you check it out. It's only $2.99. If you like big, epic, explosive comic book action, this is the book for you. Seriously. If Marvel's not going to give us a good Hulk book right now, DC damn sure is going to. It seems like maybe some of these new age of hero books, like Marvel wasn't doing a Fantastic Four book, they're doing the Terrifics, which seems to be in tone like a Fantastic Four book. Marvel wasn't giving you like a big Banner Hulk smash type book. Damage is it. This book was actually kind of fun. I really liked it. Batman #39 is here. I got a love-hate thing with Tom King's Batman. I go up and down on it. Some issues I think are brilliant and some of the best Batman work ever. Some issues I'm like, this issue was really solid, but at the same time it's very reminiscent of a Joe Kelly Action Comics issue. Pretty much almost the same thing with Superman and Wonder Woman as opposed to Batman and Wonder Woman. So some interesting things are explored here. Great dialogue at times. Tom King is a king of this dialogue stuff. It's really working it out. It's evening out. It's getting really good. Story-wise, it's pretty decent. Jolie Jones is on the artwork, and there's some really cool moments, like when Wonder Woman shows up using the bat signal, and Gordon is trying to stop her. He's like, oh, it's Wonder Woman. And there's some nice little jokey moments in here as well, including that little bit right there, but I don't want to show too much. For you guys that are going to read this book. Tom King's doing an alright job. This issue was pretty solid. I get what he's trying to do, but it's very reminiscent of this Joe Kelly Superman issue, which I don't think a lot of people will remember that. So, I don't know. So we shall see. But just because Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman doesn't mean everybody should fall for her. I'm just going to say that. Wonder Woman's awesome, right? But I do think, with Superman and Wonder Woman together, I thought that was pretty dumb, to be honest with you. I did. Batman Wonder Woman makes more sense. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening at all, guys. I'm not spoiling anything, but I'm just saying, I don't know. The book is okay. It's all right. It's got some really good dialogue. Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, #3. James Tynion IV has been doing a really good job with these crossovers. The first one was really fun. The second one is just as fun. You got Bane going into the Turtles world due to a mistake by Donatello and basically taking over the Foot Clan, and it's awesome and it's fun. Great artwork from Freddie Williams, Yeah, Freddie Williams the third, the second. Is it the second? Oh, yeah. When I was flipping it, it looked like 3, and now it's 2. Freddie Williams the second, doing good job on the artwork. Bane is huge. Lots of dialogue in here, but it flows. It's fun. This is a good exposition-y type issue, but you do got an awesome fight between Damian and Raphael, so it does have a little bit of action in there, but it sets up a really big explosive stuff. And can you imagine Bebop and Rocksteady with a version of Venom, of Bane's Venom? This book is just fun. Exactly what you think it will be. Batman Ninja Turtles, yeah, it's fun. If you like the first one, you'll like that one. It's really good. Aquaman number 32 is here, and really good issue with some really good things happening in this issue. Things I didn't see coming, though I should have, if you pay attention to solicitations. But actually, I've been kind of sleeping on Aquaman. I'm a huge Aquaman fan. I love Aquaman so much. The book, Dan Abnett's doing an all right job. It's gotten better since it went monthly. It's been a little solid, but it doesn't always feel like an Aquaman book to me. But this one has some interesting developments involving Mira that I just thought were great, and it's about time, and it's awesome, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. We got a different artist on this one, not typically the guy who's on it, but it's Riccardo Federici. Really good job, detailed stuff, some really good work in here actually, artistically. Really good pencils, coloring is kind of muted. The coloring does work for it though, but the faces capture the emotion that the story deserves. Aquaman's trying to become a good book, and that issue was really, really solid. 32 was really good. Super Sons number 12 wraps up the Super Sons of Tomorrow story, and it feels like this is something that could have been done in 5 pages. I'll be honest, that's what I think. Not the whole story, just this one little last part. Super Sons has been an alright book, but it's kind of losing its luster. Same thing with Superman. You know, Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason were doing a really good job at first, and now these books are kind of just, it seems like they're meandering around. We got a rumor right now that Bendis is about to be taking over the Superman book. We shall see what happens there. But there are some neat things in here for fans of old school DC, fans of the crises, all those different events, the big things, the former history, and now again the current history, all that different stuff. There's a neat little scene in here at the very, very beginning with Savior, who I guess the evil Tim Drake is Savior. Really cool stuff. You got references to Crisis on Infinite Earths. You got Blackest Night and Brightest Day. You got Flashpoint. You got some current stuff, Identity Crisis, Metal, Sinestro Corps War, lots of DC history thrown in there, Hyper Time, all that kind of stuff is cool. I love mentions of Hyper Time and any kind of big multiversal crisis event. I'm just sucker for those kind of DC stories, absolutely. So this one was all right. This story's okay. Don't really get what the point of it is still. We shall see. I mean, I get what the point of the story itself is, but why was the story told? Why was this story told at this time? Involving the hyper time and all this stuff. Why do they bring back the crazy future Tim Drake Savior? Why do they bring him back so quick? What is the end game here? Is there an end game? Is there something bigger happening with hyper time and maybe a full returning of the original history of the post-crisis DC universe? The original history of the whatever. Superman number 39 is here. I started reading this one. I was like, this is going to be another one of those dumb little fill-in issues, and it kind of is a fill-in issue, but it actually won me over reading through it. It's basically Superman visiting dying children that have like terminal cancer and illnesses, and takes them on a day that only Superman could give them. And it's very touching, and it's very sentimental, and it's obvious what it's trying to do, but it actually does it well. And it felt at first like it was going to be a silly Superman story, but it actually turned into something cool and special and meaningful. I'll be honest with you. You got Barry Kitson doing the artwork. It's all right at times. Sometimes it seems a little flat, but it's really cool. And it's Superman looking out for the children, and we could all give a little bit more in our lives, could we not? And that's one of those books that reminds us of that. So that's really, really cool. Let's move on to something completely on the other side. It's Days of Hate, number 1, from Image Comics, Alice Cott, drawn by, I'm going to mess this up, Daniel Sajelj. I don't know, sorry about that. But the art is fantastic. Jordi Belair on the coloring, designed by Tom Mueller. Really like this book. I really like this cat's artwork. I've seen him on books before, like Starve, the Brian Wood book from Dark Horse. I think that was Dark Horse. No, that was Image. The Massive, he did some work on The Massive, which is a fantastic book by Brian Wood. You should totally read. One of the most important books. But the artwork is striking. I really like it. Cool. Great design. It's the story about taking the socio-political climate in America right now, this divisiveness that's going on, and it takes it and it amps it up and it projects it out into the future, and it shows an America that could not be too far off if things went really, really wild, and say like another civil war happened or something like that. So it really deals with extremism on both sides of an issue, because extremes are too extreme. Does that make sense? Anyway, Alice Cott's doing a great job on this one. It was a really good, solid first issue. Really got some really good artwork, some interesting characters. It takes you the whole book to really get a good grasp on exactly how the story is framed, but it works. I think it's cool, and I think it's kind of scary, because something like this could happen one day. But I don't think it will, because I think we're better than that, right? I have to believe we're better than that. Anyway, James Bond, The Body. Speaking of Alice Cott, here we go. He's got a brand new James Bond miniseries coming out, The Body. Loved it. Thought it was really, really cool. A really great artwork by Luca Casalanguida. Really good artwork, seriously. So Bond's just returned from a mission, completely beat up, and as the doctor is talking to him about his injuries, Bond is telling him the story of what he did. I really like the artwork. It's gritty. It's got a great sense of action. These Bond comics sometimes are really, really solid at their action scenes, especially the Warren Ellis ones. This was a good, solid issue. If you've been wanting to try the James Bond stuff, but maybe didn't really feel like what you should jump into, read this one. It's fun. It's great. Cott does a great job. There's a nice parallel between the injuries and what's happening in the story, and I'm anticipating that to continue on throughout the rest of the series. Really do like this book. This was really cool. I think you should check it out. From Image Comics, we got the book called Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man is like a horror comic involving an ice cream man in this small little community and all kinds of weirdness that happens in this small community. I loved it. I thought it was really, really cool. You got great artwork by Martin Morazzo. I am not completely certain off the top of my head, but I believe this is the cat that did Great Pacific for Image back in the day. Great, beautiful coloring by Chris O'Halloran. This cat is coming up to be a great colorist that I'm starting to notice and pay attention to. Really good coloring, really good sense of space, a flow, of story flow, and the script, by the way, by W. Maxwell Prince. Really, really cool, great stuff. If you like horror comics, I think you should check it out. It's neat, it's unexpected at times, clever narration into story events. I don't want to show you too much of the book, but the coloring is amazing. Just the layouts, I really was impressed with Ice Cream Man. I really thought it was a solid, solid book. So there's this company, Alterna Comics. They got this book called Go West. I'm not familiar with this comic book company. I think this is the first time we've had something at the shop from this company. So Go West, number one, I want to check it out. First thing I want to notice, $1.50. It's $1.50 because it's on newsprint, homie. It's on newsprint. But it's great. This book was really solid. It may be cheap, but the story ain't cheap. But it's a little of a cliche story, but it does have a spin to it that I think will unravel further in coming issues. It's like a 3-issue series, yeah, but I did like it. It's like a revenge tale, very simple Death Wishy type thing, but in a future world after a great war. This dude's family's died, and he's going out west, which is now completely barren and a wasteland again. You know, it's now it's not like it is today, and it's completely something that people avoid, and it's lawless and all that stuff. And he goes there out west to have his revenge. Very simple story, but it's very effective. The artwork is pretty solid. The artwork is by Saint Yak, and the creator and writer is Garrett Gunn. Really do like this book. Great artwork, dark, cool colors. Pacing is great. The dialogue is great. What little dialogue there is, there's mostly narration, but it's solid and it's good. And seriously, for $1.50, how can you pass it up for $1.50? Look for more from this company, because I like the idea that it's on newsprint, so it can be cheap, and it's not going to be... Comics shouldn't just be these pristine things that we never open and just keep completely like just perfect. You know, comics are meant to be read and everything, and back when they were newsprint, it felt more like they were like that. This is something that you just want to flip through it and read it and enjoy it like you would a magazine or a comic of old. Seriously, I thought it was great. Also from Image Comics, we got Copperhead number 18. I was completely misled. I thought this may be the last issue of the series. I was completely wrong. It's going to continue again. In fact, chapter 4 is coming out in trade paperback in 2 months, so that means Chapter 5 will be starting very, very soon. This book has been amazing. Jay Farber's doing this one and Elsewhere. It's the Amelia Earhart one. That book is really, really good. This book is even better. Copperhead has been a favorite of mine ever since the first issue. It's like a Western, but it's in space and it's sci-fi, but it's really, really cool and not over the top with its because it's a sci-fi Western. A lot of times people will just be like, look how sci-fi Western this is. This one is just natural. It's organic. It's the way the story flows. Great characters, great moments, really fun. This would make a hellaciously awesome TV series. Somebody needs to get a hold of Copperhead. Copperhead is great. Need to read that. Drew Moss doing the artwork, Ron Riley on the colors, and Jay Farber on the writing. Fantastic stuff. And I am so far behind on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I keep picking it up, keep buying it. I'm so far behind on it right now. But I just want to be like, dude, they did a Ninja action figure variant. That is so freaking cool. They did all the Rangers. They did some villains. And they did the Rangers out of costume. They got a Ninja one, and he comes with the cloud in the bottle. Get out of here. That cover is so cool. That's the cover of the week. Absolutely. So that's what I read, and that's what I thought about it. And I want to point out another one of them Jack Kirby trade paperbacks is out. Superpowers. Do you remember the toy line? I'm a huge fan of that toy line. Love that toy line. I got some here, back here. I'm sure you've seen them at times. But Superpowers is a comic book by Jack Kirby. Not his best work, but it's still fun, and it's based on that toy line. So you got tons of dark side. You got Superman actually drawn by Kirby, not like, you know, in the Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen book where they had was it Andrew? I don't remember who it was, but they had that one dude draw Superman's face over Jack Kirby stuff. So you got the New Gods, you got the biggest DC characters, including like people like Firestorm and stuff like that. This book is fun. It's not Kirby's best, but it is fantastically fun. And I am so crazy for the trade dress on these DC Jack Kirby books. They're all like day glow, like super, like this is like sky electric blue, and they all have the same, the Kirby crackle. If Jack Kirby's name prevalent, I'm a Kirby head if you didn't know that. But that's not what I read, and that's what I thought about it. Let me know what you read and what you thought about it down below. Love talking to you guys about comics, because that's what I love. It's my passion, comic books. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Don't forget, we got a brand new podcast out right now, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You can find that at popculturephilosophers.com. Also, Rockin' with Rockin Robbie is coming back this year, very, very soon. All About the Benjamins, Part 4, coming in the next month or two. Seriously. I don't know why I made that announcement. It's kind of random. Seriously, though, Movie Monday is out right now, too. Every Monday, a new movie review. Going through the MCU right now, the MCU rewatch. We got Thor coming out this Monday. Be sure to check it out. Thank you guys so much. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, top 5 lists, and a whole lot more. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading.